Hi, my name is Ranvir Gadvi, and today we are learning audit risk and analytical procedures. First, let us look at auditor's mindset. In it, we are looking at professional skepticism. Professional skepticism dictates that an auditor must maintain a questioning mind and never take clients' assertion at face value. The auditor assumes neither absolute honesty nor absolute dishonesty, but demands proof of every material figure. This simply means an professional auditor should maintain a questioning mindset of skepticism towards all financial information provided to them and should also check all material information with sufficient appropriate evidences. Let us look at it with an practical example. Aged receivable. If a client states that uncollected aged receivables are still fully recoverable, the auditor cannot simply accept this verbal assurance. They must independently verify an aging of the receivable, investigate the financial health of the debtors, and demand correct documentary evidences. Next, let us look at materiality. Misstatement, including omission, are considered to be material if they individually or in aggregate could reasonably be expected to influence the economic decision of user taken on the basis of financial statement. This simply means a most important type of data on which can influence the economic decision of the users. Let us also look at International Accounting Standard Board's definition of materiality. An information is material if omitting, misstating, or obscuring it could reasonably be expected to influence the decision that the primary users of general purpose financial statement make on the basis of those financial statements which provide financial information about a specific reporting entity. Next, let us understand performance materiality. Performance materiality addresses a critical risk of cumulative error while an individual misstatement might fall well below primary material threshold. Multiple such misstatements can aggregate over the years to exceed the overall limit. By setting a lower strict performance materiality threshold, auditor ensures that smaller combined errors do not collectively mislead financial statement users. It focuses on the auditor to investigate and note minor discrepancy before they snowball into material issue. This means when some errors and misstatements which are well below materiality threshold, but when they are combined together can be material to financial statement as a whole, and they should be detected and accumulated in financial statement properly. Introduction to analytical procedures. Analytical procedure extend far beyond merely verifying the number of presented on balance sheet. They requires auditor to analyze plausible relationship between both financial and non-financial data. By comparing current figure against historical trends, industry average, and anticipated budgets, the auditor can detect unusual fluctuation or anomalies. This inconsistency indicate potential material misstatement or fraud, guiding the auditor's focus before dividing into detailed substantive testing. This simply means analytical procedure is a procedure where an uh, auditor analyzes financial information and identify relationship between them and find any inconsistency between them to identify any material misstatement. The analytical procedure has three different stages. First, preliminary stage. Conducted before the detailed audit begins. The objective is to understand the entity's environment, set procedure limitation, and procure, proactively minimize the risk of material misstatement during the planning phase. This means preliminary analytical procedure are take place before any audit process starts. In audit planning stage to identify any material misstatement at beginning and start taking action as soon as possible. Next, substantive stage. Performed actively during the audit phase, the objective is to detect actual material misstatement by deeply evaluating the plausible relationship between specific data point and cross-referencing the performance materiality. This means substantive testing is a more detailed form of analytical procedure where it take place in proper audit procedure take place as a proper audit procedure where and detailed material misstatement can be found. Final stage conducted when the final financial books are fully drafted. The objective is to perform a high-level financial review, ensuring the finalized financial statements are entirely consistent with the auditor's accumulated understanding of the entity. This is the final stage of analytical procedure, in which the final analytical procedure done to identify any remaining misstatement which are left by the auditor, so they can take care of it. Next, analytical procedure and let us look at the practical example of analytical procedure. Ratios, gross profit margin. An unexpected fluctuation requires immediate investigation. If a company's margin suddenly jumped to 35% after hovering around 20%, it could indicate that sales have been artificially inflated or the closing stock has been deliberately overvalued to manipulate profitability. Next, receivable turnover. Fast turnover is not always positive. If company recovers receivable in 70 days while industry average is 365 days, professional skepticism is required rather than exceptional credit control. This could be a sign of fraudulent round-tripping, selling to internally created shell companies to artificially inflate the revenue figures right before the audit. Next, let us look at misstatement. A misstatement is formally defined as difference between the reported amount, classification, presentation, or disclosure of financial statement item and the standard that is required for item to be in that is required to be in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework. This simply means a mistake or error done in financial statement which can affect the financial decision and their and financial decision, and the misstatement can be in two types: unintentional accounting errors and deliberate calculated fraud. Next, let us look at three categories of misstatement. First, a functional misstatement, factual misstatement. These are proven undeniable errors. For example, a 70,000 bad debt belonging to a customer who has explicitly fled or died but which company has failed to write off in an account. Second, judgmental misstatement. These arise from the difference in subjective accounting estimate or policy choices. An example is company choosing straight line depreciation method when auditors professional judgment detects that a reducing balance method is required. 3. Projected misstatement. These are extrapolated errors. If auditor finds a 2% error rate within the tested samples of transaction, they will project that same 2% error rate across entire unchecked population of data. Next, let us look at audit risk. Audit risk is a fundamental danger that auditor express an inappropriate or clean opinion when the financial statements are actually materially misstatement. It is an ultimate liability of auditors faces if they fail to detect fraud or significant error. This means audit risk is a risk that any material misstatement can stay undetected by auditor and an auditor provide an opinion, but that opinion may not contain the effect of those material misstatement, and it can be a huge liability for an auditor, and they may have to face some consequences for that. So let us look at consequences. Issuing a clean bill of health on flawed accounts can lead to severe consequences, including lawsuit from shareholders, disciplinary action from professional bodies like ACCA, and permanent reputational damages. Next, let us deconstruct material misstatement. In it, first let us look at inherent risk. Inherent risk represents the susceptibility of a financial assertion to misstatement before any intentional control are considered. This originates entity from clients' operation and accounting practices. This means some misstatement may be made when the financial statements are being made, and those misstatements may be made due to the nature of the financial statements. The inherent risk have two factors. Let us look at them. Qualitative factors driven by complexity of accounting standard required. For example, interact lease accounting rules or the subjective classification of the item. For example, preference share as equity versus liability, and quantitative factors driven by the sheer volume of the expectationally high monetary value of the transaction being processed by the entity. Next, let us look at control risk. Control risk occur when client's internal safety net fails. It sits entirely on the client's side of equation. It represents the failure of their internal monitoring mechanism to catch mistake before external auditor arrives. This simply means control risk is a risk that internal control department or internal control system of a client failed to identify any material misstatement and to address it. Let us look at it with an example. Failure of control. Even if company has implemented internal audit system, monthly account verification and strict financial protocols, this control may still fail to prevent, detect or correct the inherent error in timely manner. The inherent error slips through the cracks of the organization's defense. Next, let us look at detection risk. Detection risk is the sole variable in the auditor's risk equation that auditor directly controls. It is a risk the auditor that the substantive procedure performed by the auditor will fail to catch the material misstatements that have heavily already passed by the client's internal control system. This means detection risk is a risk that external auditor also fails to identify and address any material misstatement. Let us look at one of the most common a reason for detection risk. Limitation of sampling because auditor must rely on sampling rather than verifying every single transaction. There is always a residual risk that material error remains hidden in the unchecked portion of financial data. This means auditor always checks the financial information in parts by checking a half of data by a sample, but sometimes an another half unchecked half may contain material misstatement, and those material misstatements stay unchecked. Next, let us look at auditor's true concern. The auditor is not a business consultant. The auditor is completely unconcerned with the company's profitability, business variable, and operational struggle or potential future lawsuit resulting from poor management. The auditor's singular focus is audit risk, whether the financial impact of those operational struggle is accurately calculated, disclosed, and reflected in financial statement in strict accordance with the accounting standards. Next, business risk versus audit risk. Business risk not our concern, audit risk our concern. Scenario 1, customer struggling to pay. The company will lose money and face severe cash flow. The receivable balance in the financial statement is overstated because bad debts have not been properly written or written off or provision. Scenario 2, inventory selling slowly. Company will suffer to reduce profit and tied up capital. The inventory is overvalued on the balance sheet because it has not been written down to its net realizable value. Appropriate auditor's response, valid auditor's response, invalid auditor's response. An auditor must focus solely on gathering evidence for financial statement. Appropriate action include reviewing aged receivable listings to identify overdue accounts, testing provision, and discussing the necessity of recognizing specific bad debts with management to ensure accurate reporting. Invalid auditor's response. Auditor must never offer operational advice, the advising company to improve its credit control procedure or spend money on better quality control and business consulting action, not audit response. Future, furthermore, seeking external confirmation from bankrupt customer about bad debt is invalid as it falls into provide reliable audit evidence.